Before start this video, please subscribe my channel and click on bell icon. Thanks.
There have been plenty of monarchs throughout history, most of whom died young due to disease, insurrection, or other causes. However, some monarchs went on to live extremely long lives, and to continue ruling their kingdoms to boot. Related, 10 unlikely people who became monarchs. 10 Pepi II Ancient Egypt. Pharaoh Pepi II was the fifth pharaoh of the 6th Dynasty of Egypt, ruling from around the year 2325 BC. Despite knowing little about what Pepi II did during his reign, we do know that he ruled Egypt for a lengthy period of time. Pepi II remained in power for 94 years, only giving up the throne when he died at the whopping age of 98. The king in question is a man named Min-Hti, who was king of Arakan, or modern-day Myanmar, from roughly 1279 until around 1374. Min-Hti was born sometime in the early 1270s, which would have made him around 10 years old when he ascended to the throne. The king's reign was largely characterized by wars and military conquests. His kingdom was eventually succeeded by his son, although not before it fell into a bit of turmoil. Elizabeth was born on April 21, 1926, and was the daughter of Elizabeth Bowes-Lyon and Prince Albert. Interestingly enough, Elizabeth wasn't actually in line for the throne until her uncle abdicated, leaving her father as the king and Elizabeth as the heir apparent. When Elizabeth's father died in 1952, he left her as the new queen. Elizabeth's reign was marked largely by her efforts to modernize the monarchy and create a royal family that was more relevant to popular culture. Elizabeth went on to reign for a total of 70 years, dying at the age of 96. That makes her one of the oldest monarchs to have ruled, despite her age. Ramesses II was the third king of the 19th dynasty in Egypt and took the throne in 1279 BC. Like many other monarchs, Ramesses II was ushered into the monarchy at an early age. At just 13 years old, Ramesses II found himself in charge of ruling a country that had gone into decline thanks to his predecessors, Akhenaten and Tutankhamun. Although we can't be sure of his age at the time of his death, historians estimate that Ramesses II was around 90 years old when he breathed his last. There is little that's known about the first part of his reign. Still, archaeologists do credit him with building 6 impressive stone reliefs that were distributed throughout the Köppen Valley. Besides this, he also constructed a new temple and various other structures in the area. Chana Kawaile's reign lasted for 67 years, and he died at the age of 90. This was an incredible feat, even back then, and he was honored for reaching this age on the altar at one of the temples in Köppen. He took to the throne in 1946, following the mysterious death of his uncle. Despite being king of Thailand, Rama IX took over the throne after Thailand had already abolished the formal monarchy. As a result, he served more as a figurehead than someone with any real political power. Still, the king was immensely popular and spent much of his time appearing in public celebrations and endorsing political figures. During his reign, Johann II created the first constitution of Liechtenstein. He later went on to reform it following World War I. This constitution is still in place today, although it's undergone several major revisions since its creation. He passed away in 1929 when he was 88 years old. In total, he ruled Liechtenstein for 70 years, making him one of the longest reigning European monarchs in history. It was actually his uncle who was the Emperor of Austria and not his father. However, because his uncle had no children, Franz Joseph I was named heir. Interestingly enough, Franz Joseph I became emperor not after the death of his uncle, but after his abdication. On December 2, 1848, at just 18 years old, Franz Joseph was named the Emperor of Austria. During the later part of his reign, the monarch eased up and became a well-respected and revered man. Franz Joseph I died in 1916 at the age of 86. His rule in Austria lasted for around 68 years and ended with him leading the country into World War I. He is often referred to as Pascal the Great and was responsible for helping Palenque gain power as a city. Kinich Janob Pakal I technically should have become king in AD 611 when the reigning king passed away. However, at the time, he was only about 8 years old and was considered too young to rule. He didn't have to wait long to take to the throne, however, as 4 years later, in 615, Kinich Janob Pakal I was crowned king. He was born on September 5, 1638, in France and took the throne when he was just 4 years old. Because of the king's young age, he was largely neglected, leaving his mother to rule over the kingdom until he could properly manage it on his own. Worse yet, when the king was just 9 years old, an uprising of Parisian nobility led to Louis suffering further misfortune, poverty, and humiliation. That meant he held court for a whopping 72 years. 10. Fact checked by Darcy Heikkinen. Thanks for watching. Credits to listverse.com. Please subscribe my channel for more videos.